First of all, they are a very, very small minority among the Muslim population in the UK. And according to some statistics, as far as I remember, they are far less than 5% of the whole Muslim population. So they are insignificant minority. However, just to talk about their situation, you know, many of them are coming from Algeria, many of them are coming from Morocco and Tunisia. They are also facing so many political pressure, so many difficulties there. And if they are not facing these political pressures in their countries, they are facing some economical difficulties in their countries, which makes it so difficult for them to go and settle there. And I came across very, very few people who actually went to those countries and they could settle there. So this is the picture of Muslims residing or living or having the British citizen in the UK. We have to explore, as I said, we have to explore all these options before coming up with a conclusion about what? About the ruling of leaving Dar al-Kufr, which is in this case UK, to Dar al-Islam. So this is the first side, the situation of Muslims in the UK and the situation of their countries. Now the other option which we have said is what? To go to a Muslim country and to settle in a Muslim country other than what? Their own homelands. You remember we said in the beginning, we need to speak about the situation of Muslims in the UK, and we need to explore all options available for them. And we said the first option is to go to their homeland. And the second option is to go to other Muslim countries other than their homeland. Now, the second option, which is what? To go to other Muslim countries. Other Muslim countries such as what? Egypt, Saudi Arabia. And all those people are talking about Saudi Arabia. And sometimes they are talking about Qatar or Emirates. And very few people are talking about Egypt. Here, brothers, once we talk about this, we have to realize that the contemporary situation now is totally different from the situation where the fuqaha used to speak about the ruling of leaving Dar al-Kufr to Dar al-Islam. Nowadays, we have something called citizenship. And we have citizens and we have non-citizens. In the situation in all Muslim countries is that non-citizens are not allowed to settle in those countries. Yes, you can go there in Saudi Arabia, live 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years like maybe my father, but in a very rare situation you will get the citizenship. What does that imply? What is the implication of that? It's very important. The implication of that is that you can be kicked out of that country easily. And my father and many people who have been living there, once, wallahi, I remember I was in Medina and I took a private taxi, and the driver of the taxi happened to be from Taiwan, or actually from a village between Taiwan and China. SubhanAllah, he has a very sad story. And he said to me that he was an old person, 60 something. He said to me that he came to Saudi Arabia when he was 5 years of age. 5 years of age. So he doesn't know anything about his country. And at that time he said it was allowed for them to have the Saudi nationality, but the Saudi citizenship, but for a reason, he explained the reasons, he could not obtain that, the Saudi citizen. And when he was eligible to have the Saudi citizen, it was over and they banned any non-Saudi to have that citizenship. So this guy, all of his children are there. He's living he doesn't know any country other than that country, which is Saudi Arabia. But the system there does not allow people like him to get the Saudi citizenship. So he was living there, and for a long time he said, I could not identify who am I. And until just, he said a few years ago, when there were, he could obtain some documents to prove that he goes back to Taiwan, and he has a Taiwanese passport. Okay, so that person, he has this iqama there, which is a temporary residentship there, and this person who lived there for 60 years maybe, and whose children have been born there and have been living there and were born there, etc. They are equal to any non-Saudi who came on a visit visa, or on a work visa, and once he finishes his work, he will be leaving that country, I mean Saudi Arabia, or if he does something wrong, he might be easily kicked out of that country. This is the situation in Saudi Arabia, and similar situation is Qatar. In Qatar, similar situation in Emirat and in most of the Arab countries. In some countries like Egypt, for example, the law there does not allow anyone to apply for Egyptian citizenship. Maybe, I don't know whether you know that or you don't know that. Yes, the law there allows some people who are living on the borders because of a political situation and some international law, some international law aspects, then they are allowed to apply for the Egyptian citizenship. Other than that, no one is allowed to apply for the Egyptian citizenship. So you will be living there for 50, 60, 70 years in Egypt. You will die, you will be born as non-citizen, and you will die as a non-citizen. What does that mean? What does that mean? As I said to you, it means that you can be kicked out of that country easily. The most important thing, you don't have the rights of citizens, the right other citizens have. And this is very important. And moreover, which is again very important, is that you cannot practice what other citizens can practice. For example, if you want to do da'wah, there are very limited opportunities for you to do da'wah. If you want to be an active Muslim, there are very, very limited situations for you or circumstances for you where you are allowed to give da'wah. So there are many constraints around you. But you are allowed to live there. And as I said to people, and some brothers are becoming, when I tell them this, they become angry. You are allowed there to live there, to eat the kabsa if you are living in Saudi Arabia, or to enjoy some food some cheap food in Emirat if you are living there, or maybe to have maybe a good car if you live in Emirat or you live in Qatar, or in Egypt you are allowed to eat a lot of ta'miyah because ta'miyah there is very cheap, and you are allowed to enjoy your time, go to Ahramat or go to Nile or go to Ghardaqa or other places. And you are allowed also to send your children to some Muslim schools there. Alhamdulillah, there, especially in Egypt, there are many Muslim schools there, but that is the limit. You are allowed to practice Islam as an individual. You are not allowed to practice Islam more than that. You are not allowed to be an active Muslim there. Okay? There are so many limits around you. That is the situation. The most important thing is that you are not allowed to settle there. You are not allowed to settle there. No matter how you lived there, you are not allowed to settle there. actually it is not your country. In a nutshell, it is not your country. And I don't want to talk about having your own